I start?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to make this like a little bit like interactive. So, can I have a show of hands for anybody who has ever ridden in the car without a seatbelt? Okay. What about someone who has not looked both ways before they cross the street? Okay, all right. Anybody who has ever gone bungee jumping? All right, cool. Okay, so it seems that we've got like a group of like daredevils, like from big range. There's some like smaller daredevils, and there's like the bigger risk takers. And I think that like as Jews, who like no matter like what level of like practicing you are at, we should acknowledge that the Torah does have some prohibitions against doing dangerous activities because it could be harmful to your life and it could endanger you. But when I tried to like research these prohibitions and these restrictions, I didn't want to like speak about how like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, because that's kind of like a turnoff for like a lot of people. So I thought there must be like a deeper message behind like, oh, you can't go skydiving because it's dangerous. Like I thought there must be something else. So I'm like thinking about this, and I'm like in class, like thinking about it, and I like zone in for a second into like what my teacher's actually saying, and she's actually talking about something that's like pretty relevant. She's talking about Ir Miklat. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is a city of refuge for if you accidentally kill someone and a relative of like the deceased like wants to like go after you and kill you, you can run away to this city and you can be safe there. So I was like, what the heck? Like what? Like what does that mean that if you kill someone, you are like liable to be killed even if it was an accident? Like that doesn't really, that kind of like confused me. So she actually was telling us that there are different levels of accidental killings, and they all kind of fall into the same theme of that. It depends what your regard for human life was. Like if you made a mistake by like chopping wood in like a really crowded area, then like that is your fault. And like it all kind of was like if you understand like the value of human life, then you are less accountable and you don't even have to run away. Like no one can kill you. Like you are safe. So I thought that was kind of like the answer to my question. Like it's the value of human life. It's not about if you're allowed to like go skiing for fun because it's dangerous. It's more about do you value your own life. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I was also a little bit confused. How do I apply that? Because I do value my life, and I feel like there's something like greater I could have taken from it than just like, oh yeah, like value life. Like yeah, I value it because like we do. I don't know about you, but like I think we all like somewhat have that because like we like ourselves, so like we value ourselves. So I think a story that really like kind of like connects that idea and makes it more applicable is as follows. So there was once a man named Herschel Weber in the 60s. And he's at some sort of Jewish function, and a lady passes out, an elderly lady like passes out, and everybody's like freaking out, and they're like trying to like call like, oh, is there a doctor? Like, is there some sort of like emergency aid on the scene? And they're all just trying to like help and save this lady, and like Herschel's there, and he doesn't know what to do, and he tries CPR, and it doesn't work, and eventually the ambulance finally comes after like they waited a long time, and the lady's actually pronounced dead before they even get to the hospital. So in the time leading like after this event, Herschel just feels very, very sad and very, very frustrated because he couldn't do anything. And like aside from being like a tragedy for the lady, it was just hard for him because he felt that he was like helpless, like he was there and he couldn't do anything. So with like this intense like determination, he tries to like make changes and like make like innovative like things to like help the medical world. He tries to get like oxygen tanks and like he's just trying everything he can to like make a difference. In the end, this man, Herschel Weber, was actually the founder of Hatzalah. And for those of you who don't know what Hatzalah is, it is a huge organization that has ambulances everywhere. It's a Jewish organization. And like all across the world, there are these like medical like vehicles and emergency vehicles that will come to the scene like faster than the ambulance. And like it's an amazing thing. And a lot of people in like other places really rely on it. It's like a big part of their life. So I think the way that connects to us in applying this value of human life is that we have to understand that we can make a difference. Sounds a little bit cheesy, but we can really make a difference. Like if we value life and we value our own life and our friends' lives and everybody around us, we could really like go out there and like make a change. We have to like kind of like put it into like fruition. That we have to like don't just like live your life carelessly, but also just like take into account that like you have so much time on this earth, so little time on this earth that you have to like really like live your life like you're ready to make a change. And you might be like a little bit like bummed, like okay, that means that I can't have any fun, like I can't like do things with my friends because like we are young and like like we are happy and we are free, and we want to like have some fun. So like I would tell you that you shouldn't try to look at this in a negative way, because it really isn't. Like I would like to think of it as like when you're younger and you were like going to shul and you were like with your like razor scooter and your mom was like, Ashira, like wear a helmet, and you were like, no Ema, because like that wasn't cool. But then like in the end you like put the helmet on, you're just kind of like riding to shul, and you're thinking about it and you're like, this is kind of lame. But then like later in the day, like in bed, you're still thinking about it because it's like a big deal, and you're kind of like, wait, like this is like my mom cares about me, like this is nice, like I like my mom. So I think we can kind of look at it like the same way. Like God is maybe like telling us like, okay, like be careful because like your life is worth a lot. But instead of being like, okay, God, like I am my own person, because like I know like we tend to think that way because like we like to be all like empowered and like we are the masters. I don't know. So I think instead look at it like God is like holding your hand and He's like looking out for you. And don't get discouraged because life is fun, but just like take the necessary precautions. Like I know, I think it's a really big lesson. Like it might not sound like anything that you don't already know, but I think it really is. And God is looking out for each and every one of you. So good job.